going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Junior's World. So back to be back with y'all with a new video. This is part 2 of the 6-parter that I was doing of the best R&B male singers of each decade. So last video, I gave y'all my favorite 5 of my list. It considered all decades, and I just did my top 5 because I wanted to give y'all like an insight of how I can do these if y'all can know my favorite singers. So my list was Sam Cooke, Eddie Levert, Otis Redding, Donny Hathaway, and Luther Vandross. So I said in the next video I was it was gonna be the best soul singer of each decade, like I said, and some of my favorites from the 60s and the 90s through the 90s. And then we're going to go into the 2000s, and y'all going to really see how things really change and how singing really is not a necessity anymore, which is so sad. But, you know, in my videos, I want everybody to get their shine. So this video is about my opinion, Junior's opinion of the 5 of the greatest singers of the decade of the 1960s. Now, Sam Cooke and Otis Redding was discussed in my previous video, and yes, they were part of the 60s, but I want everybody to get their shine, like I said, so that's why they won't be discussed in this part of the video. If you want to know about Sam Cooke and Otis Redding, go back to the first part of this series, and then you will check them out. But this one, I want everybody to get their shine, unlike what mainstream radio is today. Everybody's not getting their shine. So, you know, that rant is over. Y'all know in my videos I go on a rant before we begin, so y'all can know where I'm coming from. So, I am going to start with number 5. This dude my grandmother loved. The hardest working man in show business, Mr. James Brown. Now, it seems like to me James Brown was known more for his musical things and him as a musical artist, and people didn't really know, like, James Brown got vocals, like, he had that, you know, that soul in his voice, that he had something to say. So, you know, James Brown was another artist that was a major player in my house. And the one thing I can always remember about James Brown records, if you guys have records, the vinyls of King Records, you'll realize how thick they were. They were thicker than every other label. So every time me and my mom would look through our records, we would see a lot of King, because now we don't even have a lot of the covers of it. So we would just have the vinyls, and the vinyls were like, Kings was so thick. Like, you know, normally with a vinyl, you can kind of like, you know, fan it, and it's kind of, it's real shallow, you know what I'm saying? But when it comes to King, you can't do that. It's still, like, they won't even move. So, you know what I'm saying? So that was the running joke with me and my mom, and that's one thing about, you know, our family. We kind of knew who my grandparents loved. If they had a lot of them, they loved them, and James Brown was one of them. So, you know, yeah. So this song was actually released in 1956, but I want to kind of give y'all a little flavor on where we going with it. So here is James Brown, and it goes a little something like this. So, you know what's so funny about this song? I remember as a kid, I'm like, Ma, is that all he said was please, please, please? I'm like, there's no other words for that, but this song will always have special memory, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I just remember as a kid, I just couldn't believe he said, like, please, please, please. Like, I think Felix Hernandez, I talk about him, he's another one of my idols. He actually counted how many times James Brown say, please, 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 please. 56 times, y'all. Crazy. So this song will always have great memory, because I will remember him saying that he said please, please, please 56 times. That's crazy to me. But James Brown definitely has a special place in my heart, because a couple of years ago, me, my mom, my grandma, we was outside on the balcony, and my grandma wanted to hear I lost someone. And to hear my grandma singing it with James Brown, she was killing it. So with me starting a 60s list, James Brown had to be on this list. So I'm going to give y'all a medley of the studio songs on why I had to give James Brown the number 5 spot. And since we're going to talk about I Lost Someone, I'm going to play that first. And it goes a little something like this. Like, you know, he just, and I love, like, James Brown would just scream, and it would sound right. And especially when he got here, like, and him and my grandma was killing on the balcony, though. Come on home to me. I love you tomorrow. I love you today. Help me. Come on, man. You cannot deny that James Brown had that soul in him. We might pay more attention to the music, but come on, James Brown is giving you, I love you tomorrow. Like, it sounds from the gut, that's some grits eating shit right there. You know what I'm saying? So that was dope. The next song, Prisoner of Love. At the end, this is one of my favorites from him, because at the end, James Brown just goes in. And it goes a little something like this. I hope y'all got y'all drinks and all that prepared. I got mine. Y'all see I came in with mine. But we going to be rocking to some good music, some good 60s music. So hopefully you guys are ready. And it goes like this. Yo, come on, yo. Like, I love the ending of that record. Like, James goes in. Next song, excuse me, everybody knows this song. It's clearly a classic of his in the 60s, but I love the end of this as well, because I think at the end of a lot of these songs, they just let the artist just ad-lib. And that's when the soul really came out a lot of times. And here is A Man's World. You better yell, James. You better yell that soul out of your voice, man. James Brown used to just scream, and it sounded all right. Because some people can just scream, and it be sounding horrible. Lord Jesus. Some of you be like, why are you screaming? It just don't make no sense. Like, you thinking it's soul, but it damn sure ain't no soul. James screaming, it actually sounded okay. The next song is, actually, he did it twice. He did it once in the 60s with the Famous Flames, and then he did it again in the 70s, and he added some more musical taste to it in the 70s. But in the 60s, I like the version where he did with the Famous Flames. And it's still fast, but y'all know it when y'all hear it, and it goes a little something like this. About your past. That soul in that man, oh my God. And then here is my part just as well. Hold my hand, make me understand. Woo! Hey! Come on, y'all. Y'all got the groove with me with that one, man. But y'all hear them vocals coming from James. Even though it's a fast song, he's still singing on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always give you a fast one at the end just so you can still hear the vocals. It was still there. Still there. But, here are my favorite live performances from James Brown in the 60s. Now, the first one is kind of special because it was the live at the Apollo in 1962. my grandparents was there. They were there when this was being recorded. So it's kind of special. You know, they know it. You know what I'm saying? I think we have the vinyl, we have the tape, we have the 8-track, we have the CD. Of course, now I have the digital version. So it's a special album because they were there when he was making it. And one of my favorite songs, because I like when he sings. The medley when he does Please, 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 and I think Try Me, I love that. It's like 10 minutes long, and he just goes in. But here's one of the songs where it kind of got a little beat to it, but James is still singing on it, and it's called I'll Go Crazy. And it goes a little something like this.
I feel alright, children. I feel
alright. Woo! Come on, man. Like, yo, you start a song off like that, you already caught me. I'm like, James, I'm with you, dog. I feel, I tried, but nah, negative. But, yeah, and this next performance is another favorite of mine from James because it's actually a classic performance that, you know, everybody kind of remember James doing his big performance on the Ed Sullivan Show in 1966. And he did like a long performance, but he did It's a Man's World, and he killed it. And I'm going to the end so y'all can just hear the vocals. And yeah, here's A Man's World live on Ed Sullivan, and it goes a little something like this. Come on, man. Woo! Come on, live like that, and James is killing it, man. That's why it's so legendary. If you go on YouTube and you check it out, that performance has literally, I think, like 4 million views because James Brown kills it, man. That was an epic performance. So hopefully with all those songs you got to hear a little bit of the vocals because once the 70s started playing in, James was more about the music. I think he wanted to prove to the world that he could sing, but he also started funk just as well in the 60s, but it was more about the range and the soul coming from James. So that's why James had to come in at number 5. So y'all better stop playing with Uncle James and his vocal ability because Uncle James had them vocals there, man. Even though the screams, like I said, he would even scream and it would sound good. So, yeah, so R.I.P. to the great one, James Brown. If it wasn't for James Brown, it wouldn't be hip-hop because clearly in hip-hop they use so many of his samples. That's why James Brown Estate will never go broke. So, R.I.P. to James Brown. Came in at number 5 on my list. Coming at number 4, Mr. Excitement himself, Mr. Jackie Wilson, and actually recording today is actually Jackie Wilson's birthday. So this is good. So to get y'all a little ready on Jackie Wilson, I'm gonna play this, and it goes a little something like this. Satisfied, yeah, that's all I need, and I'll be satisfied, yeah, man. Oh, Uncle Jackie. Now, Uncle Jackie was another one that my grandfather loved. He loved Jackie Wilson. After Sam Cooke, Jackie Wilson was next. He played him a lot. My grandparent, my grandma, my mom, and my uncle used to say my grandfather used to dance like Jackie Wilson. So, you know that. I learned a lot from I learned about Jackie Wilson from him, and also my musical teacher, which is my mom. She taught me a lot about Jackie Wilson too, because there's some stuff that I didn't know about, and I talked about it in a previous video, and she sent me a song, and I did not even know it, and my mom put me on, you know what I'm saying? So I love when she puts me on the not new music, but, you know, music from an artist that I know, but I never heard the song. So, yeah, so come on now, like, if I was going to do a 60s male R&B singers list, Jackie Wilson had to be on here, man. And y'all just heard him when he said, "That's all I need." Like, when he get into that operatic voice, it was over. So that's why I call him my uncle and I call him my cousin. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely part of my family, and that's why he made the number 4 list. And these songs right here is going to show you why Jackie Wilson is one of the greatest when it came to vocals, because the soul was there, but he could sing at an opera house and completely kill it. So here is a medley of the songs from Jackie Wilson so y'all can hear the whoop in his voice. Here we go. So the first song, it's called A Woman, Lover, and a Friend. And I'm going to go to the end, because like I said, the end is when I think an artist really displayed, and they let the artist rip, because a lot of times the artist didn't write. So at the end, they used to put their like vocal talents on it. So here we go. Killed it right there. Like, that was just enough, and the song ain't even over. You know what I'm saying? Because you know YouTube gonna act stupid, so I can't really play the whole thing. But just right there, just that, Jackie was just amazing. Here's the next song. You know, a lot of people know this, Dogging Me Around. I just love, like, this part right here. And it goes a little something like this. Oh, stop! No! I be trying to sound like Jackie, but I can't. But that right there, you better stop, yeah! Oh, love that. Love that. Love that. Oh, my God. I'm so happy to, like, be doing videos with dudes that can actually sing, because I can't wait till I get to the 2000s. Jesus Christ, how you're going to see where the vocals are there no more. But anyway, back to this. The next song is Night. I love his version of Night. And I'm going to go to the end, like I said, because they used to let their voices rip at the end. And it goes a little something like this. Can y'all believe I got all this music on my computer? Crazy, right? Ah. Come on now. How you end a song like that? How do you... Jackie better sing, man. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say. And that song, I'm leaning on a fast song, but he still was killing it with the vocals. And I think this is kind of what everybody kind of know about Uncle Jackie. And it goes a little something like this. Yeah. Round and around and around and around. Woo! Love that song, man. But you know what I'm saying? The mainstream songs, he definitely showed his, you know, vocal ability. But when it came to the live performances, he ate them. Let me tell you. One of my favorite performances from Jackie Wilson is his performance of Danny Boy. Oh my God, you guys, I'm going to put this live performance in the more info box, but I'm just going to give y'all a little sample so y'all can understand. This man could sing. So I'm going to give y'all 2 different parts. So the first part I'm going to give y'all is this. And it goes a little something like this. And then the last part, he goes in. I even put this on Instagram because it was just amazing. And he goes, and this really, really, if you don't know about Jackie Wilson singing from this part, you're completely bugging. And it goes a little something like this. That was beautiful, 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 beautiful. You see he went the range? That's crazy, man. Like, to hold a note that long. Who was fooling with Uncle Jackie with that note? He ate that note. And last song is one of his popular songs, but this song was done in like 1957, but he performed it live in like 1961 on one of these shows. I'm not too sure. I know it wasn't the Ed Sullivan show, but it was another one of these shows. And I'm gonna put that in the more info box because while it's a fast song, he's dancing, he's still hitting these notes. And the song is called That's Why I Love You So. And let me tell you something, you guys. He goes in. And I'm going to go to the part, and it is right here. Like I said, I'm going to get me a DJ, y'all. We going to rock it. Woo! And, yo, he is rocking in this video, yo. He is killing it. Why, to hit that note and be dancing at the same time, brilliant, 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 brilliant. So I'm going to put that in the more info box, but for sure, Jackie Wilson had to be on this list. R.I.P. to Mr. Excitement. You know what I'm saying? He brought the opera to soul music, in my opinion. Like, as a male, he brought that, and he brought it. You know what I'm saying? And happy birthday to him. And he is a legend, and that's why he has to be on this list. Because if I didn't have him on this list, my grandfather wasn't coming down in my dreams and be mad at me. So I had to throw him on the list. So number 4, Jackie Wilson. Coming at number 3 is one of my favorite artists of all time. And I kind of have this debate with people because it's crazy. I like his 60s work, but I like his production in the 70s. Because I think everybody kind of took what he did in the 70s a lot more than he did in the 60s. But since my mom was a big Motown head and I learned him from Motown, I actually like Marvin's 60s stuff, but I like the production of his 70s. It's kind of weird, don't get me wrong, but I love this guy. I did a hour video on him, but in the 60s, I had to throw them in this one, Mr. Marvin Gaye. And I'm going to start it off with the song that is close and dear to my heart. And if y'all know me by now, I think you guys should know what it is. Whatever you want, honey, and in your hair would be the bluest sky. And I take every drop of rain. So clearly this song has a special place in my heart because this is the first song I ever learned that my mom ever taught me, and it actually was a duet with him and Tammy Terrell. So if I was going to start with my Marvin, I had to throw this song in there. Get y'all a little ready for what we gonna go to. You know what I'm saying? Marvin was just amazing. So, the one thing about Marvin that I liked in the 60s was his voice was a little bit more raw. You know what I'm saying? But even though a lot of his songs had to be mainstream, it was still raw. You know what I'm saying? And you can still, even though these songs were mainstream, you can still hear that soul coming out of him. You know what I'm saying? But in the 70s, I think it got a little bit more smooth. It was more smooth. He was smooth and suave with it. But in the 60s, it was raw. It was raw and soulful. And in the 70s, I feel like it was smooth and soulful. So I could not do a 60s list without putting Marvin Gaye on it. And here's a medley to show you guys the reasons why. And we're going to start with the first song, and it goes like this. And you're going to hear the voice off the break. Come on, Marvin. Come on now. When you first hear that, and then one more time, hey, yeah, 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 like you hear, come on, like Barry Gordy wanted it to be mainstream, but you could not help that soul in his voice. You couldn't take it away. You couldn't. But here's the second part that I like, that's mad soulful as well, and it goes a little something like this. I guess I'm just a southern kind of fella, got my mind made up to love you. Even though that part he was kind of straining a little bit, but it still sounded good raw. You know what I'm saying? So that's that. The next song, we gonna go on this medley. I'm so excited. I'm so happy when I talk about 60s Marvin. It's crazy. But here is another one of my favorites from Marvin. And it goes a little something like this. Come on, man. Woo-hoo! Yeah, Marvin. Oh, my God. Like, don't y'all just hear it in the throat? Like, it's there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you couldn't deny it. So, here's the next one. And, this is kind of like a classic that everybody kind of goes through that I see when you talk about Marvin. And here we go. And I wouldn't be doggone. Come on, man. Y'all know y'all heard it. Man, whatever. If you ain't hear it, you're bugging yourself. So here's the next song. Of course, I love when he did his duets in the 60s. Of course, with, you know, he did it with Mary Wells. Then he did it with Kim Weston. And, of course, him becoming the king and queen of duets, him and Tammy Terrell. And I just love this song. And I just love how him and Tammy goes in, but you can still hear the soul coming out of Marvin's voice. And it goes a little something like this.
What you given me, I could never return. 'Cause there's so much, girl,
Yet to learn, honey. Come on, man. Come on, y'all. Y'all don't hear that soul coming out of Marvin? But I think this was maybe when the transition started to happen, because the next song was, you know, now, even though I love Gladys Knight, I love Gladys, and she's my favorite female singer, and I love her to death, but when Marvin did this song, it became his, period. And I think this is really when the smooth Marvin started coming. And I think y'all should know the song by now. I gave y'all a hint. Gladys did it first. But when Marvin made his version, it became Marvin's song. And it goes like this.
you could have told me yourself that you love someone else. Then I heard through the grapevine that much more would you be mine. Oh, I heard
Through the grapevine. So, like, for real, when you hear that, it's like the smoothness started. That sound is more what I heard on the 70s, like on What's Going On and Trouble Man and I Want You and Let's Get It On. And it was like, and Hear My Dear, that's the kind of vibe we was getting, the smooth Marvin. But the soul was still in there, but it was the transition. But I think the transition really started with him and Tammy Terrell. His voice really started, the raw was out, and it started getting a little bit more smoother. So that's why I had to throw Marvin on there. But if the melody, I hope y'all like the melody. I hope y'all feeling it for real. But these are the live performances. A lot of the 60s back then, let me, shut that down for a minute. A lot of the 60s back then, a lot of them were, they were lip singing, a lot of them. But there were some of them where they did lip sing. But a lot of these performances, I was going online and I was trying to find them. But every time I would listen to them, I'd be like, oh, they lip singing. Like, nah, I don't need that. I want y'all to hear the vocals, you know what I'm saying? So here is one of my favorite performances from the 60s from Marvin, and actually another one of my favorite artists, Tina Turner. They did I'll Be Doggone, and she did Money, and they did that on Shindig, and it was amazing. I love the performance. I'm going to put it in the more info box so y'all can check it out. But here is I'll Be Dogged On and Money, and Marvin just killed it, of course. And it goes a little something like this.
Well, I'd be doggone if I wouldn't work all day, baby. And I'd be doggone if I wouldn't bring you my pay, baby. But if I ever caught you running around, throwing my money all over the town, then I wouldn't be doggone.
Love it. Yeah, I wouldn't be doggone. So smooth, but because y'all know Tina, that girl knows she can yell, but it's all good. But that performance is dope. One of my favorites. Y'all can hear that. And next performance I found, after doing so much research, I found this, that he did Can I Get a Witness, and he did it live. And I was like, okay, sing Marvin, smooth cat, and goes a little something like this. Killing it. Like, he yelling, but it sounds so good. It sounds good. But, with Marvin, if y'all want to hear kind of the smooth vibe that I was talking about, a lot of artists back then, to get to that mainstream, Copacabana was the biggest place that a black artist can go. So, like, Sam Cooke's Live at the Copa is one of my favorite albums of all time. It's like my childhood. And Marvin also did one, and it was smooth. So, and this was in 1967, so it was, like I said, the transition was starting to happen with Marvin's voice, but it was smooth and it was dope. But I'm going to put a couple of performances in the more info box so y'all can kind of hear the smoothness of it. But like I said, the 60s, I kind of liked Marvin a little bit more raw, you know what I'm saying? And I wish I could have found more performances on it, but it's all good. But the last performance I am going to play from Marvin is another one of my favorites from the king and queen of duets, Marvin and Tammy Terrell. And they did Ain't No Mountain, and they did it on what's the guy name? God, I can't think of his name. Tonight Show, Johnny Carson, yes. And they did it, and it was dope. And and it showed, and I love how Valerie Simpson said on one of the interviews they were doing on Marvin and Tammy, Tammy used to bring a lot out of Marvin vocally, you know what I'm saying? And it showed in a lot of their performances, and even on the song on the studio versions, it would bring a lot out of Marvin. She would she said, she would watch them in the studio, and it was like, that's why you can hear her, no, Marvin, and then he'll be like, no, Tammy. Like, they would go back and forth, like, because she would bring it out of him. She'd be like, stop playing, come on and sing. So they were like a brother and sister. But here's Ain't No Mountain High Enough, and It goes a little something like this, and just gonna let it rock. Come on, y'all. My love is alive, it's down in my heart. I know we're miles apart. If you ever need a helping hand, I'll be there on the double just as fast as I can. But you know that there ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough, ain't no river wide enough to keep me from getting to you, babe. Yes, man, love that. R.I.P. to one of the princes of Motown, Marvin Gaye. He had to come in on my list at number 3. Now, coming in at the number 2 spot is actually the lead singer of the Four Tops. And I remember when I was introduced to the Four Tops, and the lead singer will always catch me on the way he sang, because you could tell he had a church type of voice. And this is the legendary Levi Stubbs. I love his voice. Like, his vocals just does something for me because it's so churchy. You know what I'm saying? But it was still funky on these, you know, Holland Doja Holland production. You know, it was so mainstream and so popish, but them vocals was just so church, and that's what I loved about his voice. And get y'all started, we gonna go like this. Goes a little something like this. Like, he used to always yell. That's one thing that caught me as a kid with Levi. Because, like I said, my mom played a lot of Motown. And Four Tops was one of them that she did play a lot. Like, my mom liked the Supremes. She liked the Four Tops. She liked the Temptations. She liked a lot of the groups. You know what I'm saying? So, it was like, a lot of these groups, you know, I would be playing my Super Nintendo and I'm just rocking to it, you know, just nodding my head because I'm like, this is my mom playing. But when you just hear that soul, it just gets you. So I'll be like, hold up, who that? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, so and me doing the 60s list, Levi Stubbs had to be a part of this list. So here are a couple of songs to prove why Levi Stubbs had to be part of this list and at my number 2 spot. And it goes, and we're going to start with this song that gives me, that will remind you, if you watch The Bronx Tale, it reminds you of this. And I think I said enough, because y'all should know who the heck I'm talking about. And it goes a little something like this. Baby, I need your loving. Got to have all your loving. Woo! You know what I'm saying? He killed that, man. Like, and that's, you remember that from the Bronx Tale. They played that in the Bronx Tale. Yes, indeed. But the next song, I just loved how he screams on this song, and it sounded so good, and it sounds soulful as heck. And here is Bernadette, and it goes a little something like this. it sounds so good, yo. Just Bernadette, Bernadette, Bernadette. Like, he just screaming it, and it sounds so good. Whoever Bernadette was, hopefully she heard this so she can understand that he's singing to her. Maybe his wife's name was Bernadette. I'm not sure. Maybe he was mad at her and just screaming at her, like, leave me alone, but singing in a soulful way. I don't know. But that's that. My favorite song from the Four Tops is another song that they put in one of my favorite movies, Four Brothers, and it was the hockey scene after they finished praying and they was eating and all that, and he said, let's go play hockey, and this is the song that they played, and it's one of my favorite Four Tops songs of all time. I'm just so 60s, it's crazy, and it goes a little something like this. When it's over, woo, take me, baby, wake me, so when it's over, woo. And he just sang, that's what I love about his voice, like, it just was so churchy. You couldn't deny this man's voice, and that's why the Four Tops clearly had a lot of hits, man. Holla Doja Holla knew how to use his voice on their production, which was so dope. And that's why Holla and Doja Holla was so legendary, because the songs that they gave to, like, the Supremes, they knew what Diana can handle. The Four Tops, they knew what Levi can handle. You know what I'm saying? They knew when they gave, you know, songs to, I don't know if they ever gave any to the Temptations, I don't think so. But most of it was the Four Tops and the Supremes, and they kind of knew what their lead singer could do vocally, so they knew what to give them. And his songs, man, he used to kill it, man. That church was all up in him. I need to find out what church he went to back in the day in Detroit. So yes. And the last song, everybody knows this song. When they go, everybody kind of goes to this song. When you talk about the Four Tops, you be like, what's one of your favorite songs? And this is one of them. And he killed it, of course. And it goes a little something like this. Like, come on, man. Like, even his ad-lib, oh, I'm a fool. Like, he just, yo, love Levi Stubbs. Love that guy. But, you know, there's not a lot of performances, like I said, in the 60s to find. But, like I said, back then, when you went to the Copacabana or you went to the Upper Deck, you know, you would have to really sing live. And this is when a lot of the artists used to kind of display their vocals, but it would be mainstream, but they still were soulful, so they was able to put it in there. And the first performance is actually, I found online, was Bernadette, and they did it on the Ed Sullivan Show. And it goes a little something like this, and y'all know I want the scream. That's why I want y'all to hear the scream so y'all can hear the vocals. But it goes a little something like this. Hopefully you guys are enjoying. I hope y'all dealing with my craziness and all that good stuff. But if you know me by now, you should know. Like, he just killed that. The last 10 minutes, he just killed the song. Now, you know, I know when they used to go on these shows, I know Barry used to be like, okay, you can't get all soulful and get all crazy. We want mainstream. We want these records to sell. We want, you know, the mainstream to buy these songs. So you're promoting these songs, so don't get too overly vocal runs and all that. But Levi Stubbs, you just couldn't help it. Like, he just had the church in him. So that's why Holla Doja Holla gave them songs like this, well, gave him because he was the lead, but give him songs like this so he can just go off. You know what I'm saying? So yes, that was Bernadette. The next one is from the Upper Room. And you can even hear he was still hoarse in these, but it's still my favorite because it just shows that the soul was still there. He might have been hoarse, but it still sounded good. So here is Baby, I Need Your Lovin' at the Upper Room. And it goes upper deck, not the upper room. I'm not Mahalia Jackson. I mean the upper deck. And I'm going to go to my part. It goes a little something like this. Come on, man. You couldn't deny that voice, man. You couldn't deny it. And the next one, I love this performance so much. I love the Four Tops' version of Climb Every Mountain. And on this performance, he does his thing. I wish I could play the whole thing for you guys, but I know it's probably copywritten. So a lot of the performance I can play a little longer than normal, but I know this one was actually on an album, so I know they're going to be crazy about it. So I'll give y'all a little sample of it. But, hey, I hope they don't take it off, but I'm going to give y'all maybe about 20, 25 seconds of it, because it sounds so good, man. It sounds so good. And he killed it. It goes a little something like this.
Every day of your life, for as long as you may live, you must
Woo! Yeah, man, you hear it, man. Oh my God. Y'all, I'm going to put that performance in the more info box that he was singing. But for sure, I had to put Levi Stubbs in here. I love his voice. He just had the church voice, but he still was able to be mainstream and be, you know, himself and the gift that God gave him, and he didn't have to sacrifice it. And I'm thankful for Holland Doja Holland, because that's what a producer is supposed to know, what your voice can go to. You know, a lot of these days, producers to me are more fans. So just because you're fans, you're their producer now. You got to know what their vocals can handle. And sometimes on these records, a lot of these, you know, vocals can't handle a lot of these productions. You know what I'm saying? But Holland Doja Holland made Levi Stubbs, gave Levi Stubbs the right formula and the right song so his voice can just be out of here. And that's why Levi Stubbs had to come in at the number 2 spot on my list. Coming at number 1 on Junior's list for the best soul singing male of the 1960s is my favorite and everybody's favorite Temptation, Mr. David Ruffin. David Ruffin's voice cannot be duplicated. It can't nothing. David had a distinct voice that could not be fooled with. It was like David had so much, because knowing David's background, he had a hard background. You know what I'm saying? So his voice, he just had a lot to say, and his voice just was soulful. You know, you felt the pain, you felt the happiness, the love, the joy, everything in his voice. And that's why he had to come in at my number 1 spot. And we gonna start with his 1969 joint, My Whole World Ended. And it goes a little something like this. Sing to him, David. My whole world ended. So keeping with the Motown vibe, as I said, my mom loved Motown, and this is clearly the first song that I got to know who really David Ruffin is, and this is after he left the group. Now, mind you, Mom played the Temptations, but this song kind of stood out to me because I would just love when he goes, baby, 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 my whole world ended. So that song was basically really my introduction to his vocals, and David Ruffin was a beast when it came to vocals. So the next song I got to start with before I even play the medley, because every time, you know, I'm home and my family and we start getting jamming and it's time to take out the records and it's time to jam, the first song we play is actually by The Temptations with David Ruffin on lead. And we love this song, and I just finished playing it maybe an hour ago, and I just love the part where he goes in, and it goes a little something like this. See, I gotta get y'all ready for David, man. True on the inside. I just love that. And me and my mom will go in. And I just remember my mom always saying nobody has a voice like David. And she's absolutely right. Like doing tributes to David, nobody can't do a tribute to David. If you're going to do a tribute to David, do it your way. Because if you try to do it David's way, but I must say, Leon did kill it in the Temptations movie. I must say that. I must say. So I just remember as a kid, nobody, like I said, had the passion like David Ruffin. And I realized this at the age of 7. So when it comes to soul singers, that's why David is #1 on this list, as I say again. So here's a medley we can go through so y'all can hear that voice, undeniable and can't be duplicated voice. And here we go. We're going to now get into when he did lead for the Temptations. And here's the first one, and it goes a little something like this. And us happy and sad, since I lost my baby, since I lost my baby, and I feel so bad, woo, and I feel so sad. Yeah. Next song is After Beauty's on the Skin Deep. We play this song, and my mom goes in. I don't sing this song, even though I love it, but I let her get her joy. It goes a little something like this. Whoop. Boom. Oh, I wish it would let it rain. You hear that soul? Come on now. You cannot deny that. I refuse to explain. Oh, I wish it would rain. Yes, but like that right there. Yo, come on, man. I get so excited to talk about David and his vocals, man. Next, here's the next one. And it goes a little something like this. We're going to speed it up a little bit because we've been a little, yeah. Man. God, I wish I could just boom and play it for y'all, but it's all good. Hopefully y'all stayed around this long. Losing you. Yeah. Love it. Now, Ain't Too Proud to Beg is one of my good songs from, The Temptations. But there's 3 parts that I want to play, but I think I'm just going to play the end where David kind of goes off at the end. And here it goes like this. Because y'all know the beginning. I know you want to leave me. I'm not ashamed to come and plead to you, baby. If we didn't keep you from walking out that door, ain't too proud to beg, you know. Woo! Come on now. That please, like, come man, David could do anything with his voice. That's one thing what I love about him, man. Next song, I think this is kind of like what everybody kind of go to when you're talking about David. And just play it. I ain't even gotta say nothing, because y'all probably start singing along once you hear it. Woo! Woo! And well, I guess you say, what can make me feel this way, my girl, my girl. So I tried to Eddie it, but no, this is all about David. Sorry, Eddie, love Eddie, but it's about David. And it goes, I like this part right here, too. Like, you see what I'm saying? Even when David screams, it sounded good. Now, the next song I love because it showcases Eddie and David, and I love when they go back and forth on this song, You're My Everything, and they just go back and forth. And I love the performance that they did on The Temptations with Leon and the guy that played Eddie, and they really was going back and forth, and it sounded so good. But I love when they go back and forth on this, and it's this part right here. Goes like this. Come back a little. Here we go. Come on now, man. Baby. Like, come on, man. Come on, God. I just love David's vocals, man, because nobody can duplicate them. And that's why they were so special. And you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, that's why David's just #1 to me. You know what I'm saying? But here's a couple of his live performances that I found online. I found 3 of them. And thank God I can play a little bit more when it comes to the live performances, so y'all can hear a lot more of them live vocals, because back then they might did these songs, but they went on stage and proved that they were singers, unlike Bronson Tiller. What happened at Summer Jam, buddy? But anyway, here is this performance that they did on the Ed Sullivan Show. They did My Girl and they did I'm Losing You, and they killed it. Well, they all killed it, but David, Lord have mercy.
Got sunshine on a cloudy day. When it's cold outside, I've got the money.
Don't he sound so smooth, y'all? But then when I'm Losing You, and he like destroyed it, and I'm just gonna go to that part and let it rock to the end. Come on. Amazing. Just that, oh, like, who can do that? Like, no singer, man, back then can do stuff that David did with his voice. And the thing is, David would be dancing while doing this. I'm like, how did that happen? Like, who can do that? But, yeah. And the last... No, this ain't even the last performance. I'm about to cut it off. No, I'm not. The next performance is, I don't know where I think they did it maybe on Sammy Davis Jr.'s show, if I'm not mistaken, because Sammy Davis, the Hollywood Palace, that's what they did this performance on. And there's 2 spots I want to play. And it goes a little something like this. Do, 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 do.
So day after day, I still
Come on, David. Come on, man. Killing it live like that, man. You can't deny that man's voice. Now, the last song he did, I'm Losing You, but there's 4 spots that I want y'all to hear so y'all can hear the vocals on that. And it goes a little something like this. It's funny, this video, I'm going to put in more info box because they were showing, whoever the host is, they were showing them how to dance. And, Lord, that was so funny. But, here we go. Doom, 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 doom. Oh baby, I'm losing you. I'm losing you. Okay, and here's the next part that I like. It goes a little something like this. I'm losing you. And then this part right here, David takes it home at the end, and it goes like this. And he was just singing, y'all, and dancing his face off, but he would go on like that. You know what I'm saying? So, David was #1 for me. His voice can't be duplicated. So those are my favorite when it comes to the male singers of the 1960s. James Brown, Jackie Wilson, Marvin Gaye, Levi Stubbs, and David Ruffin. Now, if you have some that you may think that I missed, you can put it in the more info box. Tell me why, who you think, you know what I'm saying? So hopefully you guys liked it. Hopefully you guys are ready for the 70s. So on that note, I am going to go out on a song that was released in '69, but it's surely going to get you ready for the 70s. And it goes a little something like this. Wanna change my mind. Hopefully y'all ready for the 70s. Peace, y'all.